YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. Back in Total War Warhammer, we're going to have a 2v2. This is going to be Wood Elves and Empire versus Greenskins and Norska. There are some pretty odd armies on the field. We'll start with the Wood Elves. They've got Eternal Guards with shields, Blade Guard, and Durthu, and there are 2 Treekin supporting. This looks like it's being played in small unit sizes. Players were probably trying to avoid lag. The Empire army is going to be 2 Witch Hunters, a Warrior Priest, Demigryph Knights on halberds, and they are being led by the Supreme Patriarch, one Balthasar Gelt, back here on his steed. And if we take a look at the enemy armies, Norska is loaded up on Javelin Men and Marauder Horseman Javelin Men, a single Mammoth with Wolfric, and another Mammoth with the War Shrine. The Greenskins have brought a Goblin Rocklobber and a Doom Diver Catapult. There's also some Trolls mixed in with some Goblin Infantry and Orc Biggins, along with a couple of Goblin Archers. They are led by Grimgore Ironhide. Wolfric is already under fire. Let's kind of see what happens here. The 2 armies are looking to clash here in the center. The Norskins throwing in quite a few javelins. This really blobbed up group here takes a nasty Doom Flock from Durthu. And oh my good grief. Balthasar hits them with a final transmutation. Holy crap. That is going to be an absolute massacre, and probably one of the fastest battles ever on Warhammer, as Balthasar Gelt absolutely melts 2 enemy armies. They got 2 blobbed up, and then now the Mammoths get torn apart by the Archers, and that's going to be that. Yep, there you go. Balthasar just clutched out 2 armies single-handedly. So I would say that the Patriarch is able to actually live up to his name now. He's not like the strongest legendary lord or like super top tier, but against certain factions or in certain situations, he's obviously a solid pick. And in that replay, obviously the enemy armies made some big mistakes. But that's exactly what these spells were made for. They were made to punish mistakes like that. So Final Transmutation, Dwellers Below, and other Vortex spells are actually in a really good place right now, in my opinion. Some people think they should be nerfed. I personally don't think they need to be nerfed. I think that it's really good because it's punishing blobbing, and blobbing was really one of the only downsides to this game. And I wasn't necessarily hugely opposed to blobbing until it got really easy to heal blob with so many factions. Now it kind of makes sense to have these Vortex spells, and they kind of nerfed heal blobbing a little bit. And these area effect and vortex spells. So now there's plenty to punish blobbing. So Balthasar basically won that battle single-handedly whenever the enemy made a mistake and blobbed up too much. So of course that was so short. I'll have another one here for you, so let's go grab that one. I think it was this Dwellers Below, which is another example of how you have to be careful of these new area of effect spells. I'm just making you all aware of this. Number 1, you can use these area of effect spells in the campaign to pretty good effect because the AI is not as smart about how it attacks you. Now when you play online, you need to be aware of these. Like previously, probably the only thing you had to really worry about was Wind of Death. And Wind of Death would occasionally catch you off guard, but you really have to watch out for Final Transmutation, Dwellers Below, Purple Sun of Zerus, Pit of Shades. There's a bunch of spells that can massively punish you for blobbing up too hard. Now the vampires here, they're going to have 3 zombies, a few skeleton warriors, a couple cryptors, 3 graveguard, a Vargulf, and Helmungorst on a corpse cart. And this is an army that can regenerate hit points pretty well. There's a Blood Knight and also a Dire Pack. Let's go see what the Wood Elves are sporting over here. They've got a Sisters of the Thorn, which is an interesting pick, a Waystalker, and a Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards. These are going to be the magical damage, but archers that do considerable damage, but they're shorter range. It's kind of an odd pick for sure. There's some Eternal Guard, and we've got the Firebark Elders, Treekin. The vampires, though, don't really sport any flaming damage, so I'm not sure why you needed to bring the Firebark Elders, but who knows. There's also an Ancient Tree Man for the leader. See how this plays out. The Sisters of the Thorn are only 85 speed, and it's faster than the Blood Knights, but if they fire some, it'll start slowing them down, so they need to be careful here. Those are really cool looking units. definitely cool looking units. So let's watch the Sisters of the Thorn. You can now see the Swift Shiver Shards. I can't freaking say that. Raining down. Are the Sisters of the Thorn ever gonna fire? There they go. Finally got a shot off. I'm not a huge fan of the Sisters of the Thorn for this very reason. You can see when the vampires hit charge speed, they can basically catch them, and the more these sisters fire, the more tired they get, and the easier it is for the other units to catch you. They are at least leading these units on a chase. They need to lead them up here to friendly units, though. But yeah, look at that. Very expensive Sisters of the Thorn. Absolutely slaughtered. Basically picked apart. Because the Dire Pack and the Blood Knights were just too fast. The Curse of Honor does take away a lot of speed. And probably should have been, well, it may not have been ready because it's on a cooldown, but if it was ready, it should have been used sooner so they could escape. So that Curse of Honor is actually pretty good for the Sisters of the Thorn in terms of being able to help protect them from being chased too hard like this. So the Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts and the Deepwood Scouts are able to fire down at will. Though I believe they are firing into a shielded flank, or no, it's the unshielded flank. That's good for them. They're not doing a tremendous amount of damage yet, though. Wow, that Curse of Honor is still active over here. Let's see what spells the Tree Man brought. Dwellers Below, Regrowth, Earthblood. And this is going to be a great map for Dwellers Below, as it's easy for players to get blobbed up trying to round a corner like this, so the elves are pushing the vampires in with their missiles and trying to force an engagement right here. Now, the thing about Dwellers Below as opposed to the Final Transmutation is the Dwellers Below actually hurts your own units just as badly as it does friendly units, whereas I don't believe Final Transmutation does, which makes the Final Transmutation a lot less risky. Let's see what happens here. So the first zombies are going to come up and engage. The vampires are trying to get through to the archers, and they do get to one of the Glade Guard. There's still 3 more skirmishers on this side, though. 2 Glade Guard and Deepwood Scouts. Dire Pack should make short work of the Glade Guard. The Blood Knights, however, don't want to be in this battle. Shield of Thorns, though, nice call. Extra damage going to be done to the Blood Knights. Alright, so the vampires come in earnest, and they're going to try and bust their way through. Let's see what happens here. This is going to be a Dwellers Below. It's mostly zombies that it gets here. It does manage to tag just the very outer edge of these other units as well, so it ends up being a pretty devastating Dwellers Below. The vampires immediately hit an Invocation of Nehek, but that's a lot of damage done, and Helmund Gorst is in bad shape. Very bad shape. In fact, he's dying very quickly, and he's very slow. He used his heal on his units and not himself, and he paid the price. So, Helmund Gorst is out of the fight. And at this point, the Treekin and the Firebark Elders should be able to fight their way through the vampires, who will start to lose leadership relatively quick. The one Vargulf just can't tear down the archers fast enough, so he's going to start taking immense damage. And now you're going to see a heal over here, probably. Yep. Keep the Treekin alive. Nice outflanking maneuver here by the vampire, but I don't know that it's going to be able to save the day. Yeah, the Vargulf's going down, and these archers are soon going to tune in on this vampire blob. How cool does that look? It's freaking sweet. So yeah, this is going to... Look, there you go. Shield of Thorns once again, and then the vampire players defeated. This game looks so dang amazing. Can't wait for Warhammer 2. So yeah, just a couple of replays I wanted to show you. Not because they were like super high level or something, but actually just the opposite, because the folks at the super high level understand these spells, and I really want you all to understand them as well. So be careful of dwellers below, so scout out the army ahead of time. If there's a Lure of Life spellcaster, be aware that they can hit you with the dwellers below. Do know, though, that it damages their own units. If you see the dwellers below being cast, it is best to retreat your units and try and get away from it. The enemy's likely to do the same thing whenever they see it cast, unless they're willing to sacrifice a unit in order to get you, and sometimes they will do that. They might try and bait you into a blob with their lord, and then cast the dwellers below. So again, just be very careful of that. Final transmutation is very similar. Don't get lured into those traps. Keep yourself safe. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will be back with more online action soon. Tell me what kind of stuff you want to see, and I'll see you there.